Jim's going to join in. We just got through about the Haeco, and we can talk some more about the Haeco with Jim here.
Good to see you, Andy.
Yes, sir. Good to see you, too.
I was enjoying listening to you and Worth go there. Man.
What about your, I'll hit it with you before you even get into the main meat of the discussion. What about your North Carolina Tar Heel top 5 all time?
Top 5 all time. Well, that's a good question. There are two guys that come to mind. Well, certainly Jordan and Ford are going to be on about everybody's team, but I'll never forget James Worthy. He had in terms of points scored, the 28 he scored against Georgetown in '82 was a career high for him, and George Lynch's leadership on that '93 team. That if you go back and watch the first 5 minutes of that championship game against Michigan, he blocked a shot, got an offensive rebound, took a charge, got Carolina off to a real stable start in that game, and then went on to have a really solid game.
We don't sometimes give enough credit to is Eric Montross. He was a darn good college player, plus a very intelligent young man. He's still showing that today in his broadcast.
Yeah, good guy, a good down-to-earth guy. I loved Walter Davis too. He was in my class.
I had him on my website. I said we got to get Walter Davis into somewhere because down 13 points, down 8 points, 13 seconds to play.
Yeah.
Never forget that.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Sweet D.
I think Hansbrough would be on everybody's team. And a guy, Andy, that really doesn't get the credit. He came along so early.
Charlie
Scott, but Billy Cunningham, who averaged a double-double and had something. He had a run of some ridiculous run of like 40 consecutive double-doubles or something like that. It just amazing. And the teams he played on back then in the early '60s, mid '60s weren't all that strong. But
that's right. That Charlie Scott name, I'd left him off my original 5, but his name came up after I posted that yesterday after hearing John Kilgo and someone, I think it was Dre Bly, just had me talking about on one of the radio shows the other day about I'm an NC State guy, no doubt about that, but I also enjoy the history of all the other teams in the league and the Big Four, especially with Wake and Duke, Carolina and State. But Charlie Scott, you think about Charlie. Charlie was he was kind of a man who kind of laid a lot of groundwork in that program.
Oh, no doubt about that. And the first African-American scholarship athlete at Carolina. And, of course, everybody remembers the shot he hit against Davidson in '69 to win that game and go to that was Carolina's third straight Final Four they went to.
Giselle here tonight, I'm sure he would be more than happy to say something about that. May not be.
Well, when McMillan flipped from Carolina to Maryland at the last minute, Lefty thought that was just dessert for Charlie Scott going to Carolina from Davidson there. So yeah, boy, there's some great ones, and the schools in this neck of the woods have a lot of. Everybody has a tough time picking their top 5 from all the Big Four schools, I guess.
But if you think about locally, we've had a lot of Greensboro kids go down to Carolina years. Bill Chambers among all those teams, one of our Haeco coaches.
Coaches in the tournament. It was good seeing him. At the lunch the other day, I know you attended, and Curtis Hunter too.
Yeah, Curtis
coaches
Hunter's
in our tournament.
Right there, exactly. Curtis Hunter was a McDonald's All-American.
Yeah,
he probably didn't get the credit he deserves.
No, he was he came in with the baggage of being the next Jordan they called him. When he was Southern Durham.
Southern Durham, that's right. Yeah, Curtis Hunter,
right.
Outstanding high school player.
Oh yeah, he was. I asked both those guys. I said, do your kids understand that there was the lineage goes from James Naismith to Fog Allen to Dean Smith to you guys, and they said, do they get that pedigree? Of course, but most kids these days probably don't know who those guys are.
It's a shame too.
Yeah.
Especially guys like James Naismith, they don't know who he is. They should go back, just look on the back of some old cereal box or look up something somewhere and do some history on him. Curtis Hunter's a big guy too. Today, modern day, he could be a big-time football player. I think as big as he is.
That's exactly right.
How about the Haeco vision? What's the vision on this year's tournament? Give us some predictions on 2014. How do you see this tournament doing, and why should this tournament do well based upon what's happened prior to it?
Well, looking, just kind of following the scores that you guys put out for us, and and in the paper, what strikes me about it going into the tournament is, we got a lot of teams that are having good, solid starts to their seasons. I'm watching teams, that. Maybe have been a little bit up and down in years past, but they seem to be doing pretty well. I follow Grinsley. My eye kind of drifts toward them with my kids going there, and their guys are doing great. So Southwest got them the other night.
Got 'em, yeah,
Then
right.
I saw the Grimsley girls won. They've already
maybe won more this year than won the entire year last year.
I think so. Coach Gunn's going to do well over there, and I think they have two conference wins.
Yeah, the girl, she's not small, but her name is Rebecca Little. Rebecca Little's going to be a good player one day, I think. Number 12, I think, for Grimsley girls. Saw her in the game against Southwest. Saw her again a little bit the other night, maybe against Central. But Rebecca Little is going to be a good player. Got the Ramsey kid, good ball player. Grimsley's got some talent over there.
Yeah, and I think if the tournament were being played tonight, last I looked, Northwest would come in without a loss in either program at this point.
Right.
Both the girls and guys are unbeaten, right?
So they're playing tonight in their own Novant Invitational over there. They've got games today and tomorrow at Northwest Guilford. So the teams are loading up now. Before Christmas, it used to be in the past you'd play, your November-December schedule. Then you had your maybe a Christmas tournament and your January-February schedule. Now half your season is done after you get through the Haeco tournament. Half your season's over.
That's something to behold. Yeah, they do, and you can see it with the number of conference games that are already being played.
Yeah,
coming
in State
it.
3A, I think Northern Guilford girls knocked off Rockingham County last night. Rockingham County was 10-0 going into the game, and Northern Guilford girls had their first loss. And now Northern Guilford girls, I think, are like 3-1, maybe in the conference. They've already played about 4 conference games.
And and that's another team that if I'm remembering correctly, maybe 2 years ago, Coach Furlow's team they were struggling a little bit. Boy, they built back. And
well, I tell you what, the thing she's done since last year's bunch. A couple of years ago, they had the Kofer sisters. Amanda and Samantha were still there. Then Amanda came after her, and Samantha's down at Elon doing quite well there. And then last year, they had the Greenwich young lady. Leah Greenwich kind of led the team. They were getting close last year, but I thought there'd be a drop-off after last year. I thought maybe some young kids would come around. They might be okay, but they got that 6'3", 6'4" center, Alyssa Canane. I was telling Worth Holloman about her. I think she may score 40 points in the game sometime this year, just based upon she's so tall out there.
Yeah. And they say you can't coach height.
No,
right?
You can't. You can't.
And gosh, Andy, the first 3 or 4 years that I was involved with this tournament, the day school girls probably didn't win a game in a tournament.
Okay.
Now they've caught fire, and
yes.
So I think it's going to be an awfully competitive tournament.
I was telling Worth Holloman about the fact this Tamara Thorpe, she had 38 against one of the teams, maybe Ravenscroft last Friday night, so she could erupt, and if she doesn't get any foul trouble, sometimes a player scores a lot, sometimes, unfortunately, they go after, they hustle and follow their own shots, so get called for a couple of fouls here, and then they might normally get called for. You just got to be careful, stay in the game, got to keep that player in the game, but she could erupt, she could go crazy, but the Northwest Guilford girls, telling Mr. Holloman about the fact they got so much balance on that team, they're about maybe 7 or 8 deep, and this kid Morgan Pointer is their post player, but she shoots free throws like a guard. She's that talented.
Wow.
You'll see those Northwest Guilford girls.
I haven't seen them play.
I saw them last year. I started watching them last year. I said, either I'm just digging out something that doesn't exist, or I'm seeing a pretty good basketball team here, and they've proven us right so far. I think they're like 7-0 to start the season. And got a lot of kids on that Northwest Guilford girls team that play together in travel ball. They played for Coach Kristen Shelton, who's the coach at St. Pius, who's the wife of Steve Shelton, used to be Freddie Johnson's assistant over Greensboro Day, and now Coach Shelton has taken a full-time position with Prolific Park. But Coach Shelton's wife, Steve Shelton's a very good coach. His wife, though, can out-coach him, you, me, Don, all 4 of us combined. She's got that much fire, but she coaches those little girls at Northwest Guilford, and they have got a load of talent. Plus, she's got 3 or 4 kids, at least 4 kids, the 2 Casper sisters, Ava Casper and her sister, plus the 2 Hurd sisters, Jillian and her sister over at Page, that came out of St. Pius. Coach Shelton put some girls on the map, and those girls, it's amazing. Sometimes those games are closer than the men's games.
Well, it'll be fun to watch.
Nothing's going to get closer than last year's championship game, though, right? Greensboro Day and Page, overtime?
Yep, that's right. And, it'll be, you're talking about the young ladies, one of the changes that we've made over the years, which I really, really am glad for. We got a great venue at the Special Event Center, but, to bring the girls' teams as they advance to the tournament.
Yeah, the Coopers.
Over
my former parents of the team have coached in the past. His daughter, Wendy Cooper, used to score about 30 points a game back in the day.
That's good coaching, Andy.
That was just shoot the ball and come out. We're up by 50. Go ahead and come out and not put the starters back in. We've already beaten this team. But you're about moving the girls up to the big venue.
Yeah, it's from a crowd standpoint, it's much easier to accommodate, and it's good to see see the teams as they advance. Everybody's over on in kind of what I would call, we call it court one. And obviously there's more seating there.
And they're there
that
for
kind
the
of thing.
semifinals and the finals.
And the finals,
right?
that's right.
Yeah, that's
as they advance through, I really do think it's going to be awfully competitive. I would hope we see good, close, well-played games, and that's
that first day, we were talking to Worth Holloman about that fact. Day one, that number 4 Page, number 5 Grimsley, 8 o'clock.
That's a good one.
That's a good Friday night game to watch.
That'll top the day off right there.
Like watching Duke and Carolina or Duke and NC State playing the Friday night game in the semifinals ACC tournament back in the old days.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And again, both those teams, are probably coming in, and you know more about it than I do. But would you say Grimsley may be the surprise team on the guys' side?
So far, they could win, because I was going to mention this to Worth Holloman, mention to Jim Gentry. You may get a few Grimsley guys going. We're seated number 5. We should be ahead of Page. Page has got a losing record, 3-4 right now. We should be ahead of these guys, which is always fun too, because when you make the seedings, that's all you're waiting for. Let's get some talk going. Let's get some speculation going about this.
Yeah,
and Page just lost a bundle. We just learned yesterday their guard from last year, Ty Graves, is committed to Boston College. He's now at the Montverde Academy in Florida. You got Anthony Eves was with Page in the backcourt along with Graves last year. Anthony's at Ballard High School in Louisville, Kentucky, so he lost quite a bit off that team.
That's amazing to think about that. You wish those guys well, and I saw about the Graves kid committing to Boston College, which is a team I know fairly well. I've had the pleasure of hosting them when they come in. So, of course, they've got a new coach up there
they say he's looking for quick guards.
Yeah.
That's why they went after Graves.
Yeah, but you wish them well. But we miss seeing those guys in our tournament, certainly.
And
but we wish them well.
That Graves lineage too. I think he's cousins, maybe William Graves.
Yeah.
So part of the connection.
Who I just saw got a contract overseas.
Did he really?
I think he signed.
Good.
Yeah.
Love to see him continue to play ball.
Yeah, that's
he's a
right.
big guy too. He's a former Carolina man, a former Timco, Haeco, Pizza Hut Invitational Tournament man in the past too. I wrote that down earlier too in my notes today to mention to Jim, and probably more so with Jim instead of Mr. Holloman, because Jim probably can identify this a little bit more. But, you've been there a good while. But you look at the history of the coaches in this tournament. Guys like Mac Morris, Phil Weaver, David Price, and do not ever want to forget Freddie Johnson. Even a guy like Bill Walton, our old friend from the past.
That's
who
right,
was,
Grimsley.
had some health issues up in Reidsville last year, or coaching. But, gosh, think about the history. The guys like Mac Morris, Phil Weaver, David Price, Freddie Johnson. That's a lot of history right there among those coaches.
It really is. And, I just enjoy to this day being around Coach Morris and just asking him about the game and get players he coached and
the weird thing is, man, just jump out all the time. Just jumps off the page and grabs you. One of his former players now has a son, Pierce Landry, on the Greensboro Day School squad. Pierce Landry's son played for Greensboro Day. John Newman, who played for Coach Morris over Page. His son, John Newman, also at Greensboro Day School now. So these children, the guys that play for these coaches, they're out there everywhere.
Yeah, the history and the legacy of this tournament continues to grow. This is the 39th, and it sure goes by fast. And you think about, the fact that Chris Lowe, who is our co-chair this year, played in the tournament.
Was he Greensboro Day?
Greensboro Day. Kevin McCoy, he's current president of the Sports Council and has chaired the tournament. Has played in it.
He was a very good one too.
Yeah, it's really something.
And a guy like Ethan Albright, he's on the Greensboro Sports Council. He played in the tournament also.
He surely did. And and I always remember Phil Weaver, who coached in this tournament.
How would you like to be a young coach and you've been dreaming about what your future going to be like and you're not sure what's going to happen? You'd be a guy like Phil Weaver. There's no way you could dream together the fact that you would actually coach a boys team in a championship game and also a girls team in a championship game in this tournament.
It's something else. And he, as Phil was about to retire, of course, Phil is he is in the Sports Council now. But when he was at our seedings lunch a few years back, when he was still coaching the girls at Grimsley, and I think he had already announced that he was going to retire. He said, "I just want to tell everybody, how much this tournament means to us." He said, "It took us Grimsley going to the state championship game back in '07." He said, "It took us making the state championship game for my team, for my girls to realize there was something bigger than the Haeco Invitational out there. That's how big a deal It is, and the stage it provides for these kids. It's really something else.
They had to get out of town and get into Chapel Hill, play in the Deandom before they realized it's something bigger than the Haeco around. I remember being at that game when they got beat by that team out of Southview, I think it was. They're in Fayetteville.
Yeah.
He had 5 D1 players on that team.
Yeah, and
Tremaine Lucas was the main guard.
That's right. Grimsley had a big lead in that game, and it slipped away from them there down the stretch.
Rodriguez girl later played A&T. She just came back, and boy, that was kind of sad. And we had the Page girls. They also played in the finals a couple of years ago with Paris Key, was a junior down in Chapel Hill. And then the Dudley girls won the state title one year, and Southwest Gopher girls. We've had some good women's basketballs come a long way. From Worth Holloman several years ago, they didn't even play the girls. They weren't involved in the Coliseum. They used to play the games over at Grimsley High School years ago.
I remember before I was involved. Hadn't been in Greensboro, all that long, but I remember the fact that the girls were.
And they had 4 teams back, just like the boys did back in the long period of time when they first started back in those days. So they used to be the Little Four,
And it was the guys that started this knocked off the Big Four that was played
Which
up
is
here.
a great idea.
Yeah,
great
exactly.
idea. The Little Four, who would believe it outlasted the Big Four?
That's right.
I wish the Big Four would come back. I'd love to see them both. Love them both. Jim, how'd you get involved? How did you land with the Greensboro Sports Council?
Well, I was given an opportunity to apply to the Sports Council in, 2007, and that's when I became a member, and the real key that we do is involvement and volunteering. That's really kind of at our core, and the Haeco is our signature event. But anymore, we volunteer for so many other things with the Wyndham and figure skating and swimming, and all the other basketball, baseball, golf events that come into town. I just love it. It's kind of like the rabbit in the briar patch for me.
It's
been involved with it, and it's a lot of fun to kind of help out in the community and be connected with.
What do you think
sports.
this tournament means? Just a question. What do you think the tournament means to the local community?
Well, I think again going into our 39th year. I think we've woven this tournament into what I call the holiday fabric of the community. I think a lot of people are out there and say, well, it's Christmas. It's time to get over to the Coliseum and watch these teams play. I think you look at the support of the tournament, and it certainly bears that out too with the proceeds being so important to the participating schools and to other good causes in the community. And also, we've grown to the point, Andy, where, in supporting these schools, our local sponsors are really getting great marketing exposure out of the event as well. You drive around town now and you see billboards.
Haeco hoopla.
Right.
Looks good.
That's exactly right. So we take a lot of pride in it. We're proud of the fact that we've kept it with local schools. I view it as a 16-team tournament. It's not an 8-team. There's 8 schools, but it's a 16-team tournament.
Absolutely.
So that's probably you put 20 kids between players and managers and so forth. There's 320 young folks that are involved in something that probably is a unique stage that they'll perform on. For the most part, it's as big a stage athletically as they'll be on.
And it's a good experience for them too as they move on toward the college game one day. All the different functions involved with the tournament, and all the way the tournament operates, the details, the structure, all that helps them out for big stages later, like you said.
Yeah, it does. And the other thing, we got such great support internally from the folks at the Sports Commission. Everybody knows Dent Bradford
and Kim Strable, right on.
Kim, and then we have Rob Goodman, who works with us on our media, to have watched the infrastructure of the tournament grow and the operations piece and how the level has risen to really, in a lot of ways, emulate, I think, what you see when you come in along for ACC
Or
and NCAA events.
Yeah, that's right,
Certainly
that's right.
not quite on that scale.
Similar, though.
But it's a lot of those things are thought about and and taken care of in a way.
Yeah, it's a good thing too. Like I say, it gives the kids experience so they get on to those big college tournaments. They've already been there to a certain degree.
Yeah, and I think some of that. And Phil could speak to this, but I think that's some about what he meant when he said it took me going somewhere else to show there's something
and like
something
I
beyond
North
that.
Holloman, so many of the kids who were in the tournament previous years, you look out in the crowd, you see them coming back. The next years after they've already graduated from high school,
that's
they're
what's
college,
fun.
they keep coming back.
That's what's fun to see them back.
We mentioned that Paris Key MVP thing, like 3 straight years. That's hard to believe what she did. And I would think if they have any vacant time on their schedule during Christmas, she was in town last Sunday or in the area last Sunday to play against Elon, but I would think she probably would be back for that tournament too.
Yeah, it would be fun to see her back. The other thing that we've done the last couple of years with Haeco's involvement is the chance to take our winning teams. And in the last 2 years, it's been the Page ladies and the day school guys, but we've gone out to Haeco, and they've gotten to tour that amazing facility. And hey, let's don't forget the career fair.
Sure,
that's a part of this. The whole aviation deal is, and it's just an incredible fit. For that, and so many of our fans are in the constituency that that Haeco and GTCC, who's a big partner of theirs in aviation, we're drawing in the folks that they want to get in front of to look at careers. So I'm looking forward to see how that's going to grow this year too.
It's been a good fit though. The first 2 years between Timco/Haeco and then the Greensboro Sports Council putting that tournament together.
Really hard to imagine a better fit. Kip Blakely and the team at Haeco are great to work with, and Jillian Gibson and the team at Newbridge Bank, our presenting sponsor. There's so many partners that we have in this that, again, they're all about Greensboro, and to bring it together under the roof of the Coliseum for 3 days.
How is your role different now than what it was back when you were the tournament chairman a couple of years back?
Well, try to be around and offer. When you get old and you've been around the block a few times, you can offer some history, I guess, on what's going on. Mm-hmm. But we have new members coming into the Sports Council each year. They step up in their roles, and they're raising the money. I love the operations piece, the backstage aspects of what makes the tournament tick.
What time do they get out there the day the tournament opens up, like on Friday? I mean, they get there early in the morning to get that started too.
Yeah, we get the teams get to come in early for a 30-minute shoot around just to get acclimated to the court and the rims and that sort of thing. Mm-hmm. And we give. We typically have a little gift package for the players as they come in and pass that out.
Donald Moore had years ago. Donald had these bags for us that one year, and I think I still got one. He had these little towels and stuff. I mean, he had some pretty nice stuff going on back then.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. We want to give the kids something to remember their participation by. Yeah. So that's our buddy Randy Cobb taught me a lot about. He taught me a lot about the back of the house stuff that you need to think about, and I'll never forget the year I was co-chair. And
now, who was your chair that year?
Kevin McCoy.
You were Kevin. That's a good combination, man.
Yeah, and right there, and Randy was reminding me, hey, teams are back. They're down in the locker rooms at halftime. When do we get them back? How long is the halftime? The shootout, do we have the free throw shootout? So there's a lot of moving parts to that to get things, choreographed.
You've had to adjust that free throw shooting contest over the years, but still, going back, I'll give you one thing. This guy would probably, if they had a Hall of Fame for the Haeco tournament, Sam Hunt would be in the Hall of Fame. Right. Sam's at A&T, I think, now, isn't he? Sam transferred out of Jacksonville, came back to town. I think Sam might be at A&T. Yeah, always loved watching Sam Hunt play basketball. He would win that shootout just about every year.
Well, and then it's fun to watch everybody come out. And we collect $1 to shoot, and to see those kids, their eyes light up as they're out there doing it. It's a lot of fun.
That's always.
I always look forward to going out and rebounding a little bit during that halftime deal.
Stretch in. Now it's like the Steak and Shake sponsors that.
That's right. That's right.
I remember for years they would have that big shootout, and I guess as time went on, they had to scale it back a little bit because it got a little too competitive among some of the high school players that would jump in.
Well, and you have to be mindful of eligibility guidelines and stuff like that. So,
but people would want to. They'd be fighting to get in line for that deal.
Yeah, that's right. And again, it's a tradition. And you ask about the tournament itself, and it comes at a time of the year where around the holidays we all enjoy traditions, and for us to be a part of that in the community is.
And there's a kid or two that got a little extra money maybe for Christmas, got a couple extra dollars here, they bring that with them, and sometimes the parent didn't realize they've got that extra dollar. They'll be back in. What are you doing back in line again? Spend this money I got. Got to get a shot. Got to make a shot. Got to put one in.
Yeah. Hey, and Andy, don't let me leave here without saying that you're a part of that tradition. You're a part of that fiber. There's no doubt. There's no doubt about it. We really do appreciate all you've done.
A lot of fun, just part of the routine, like you say, part of the annual yearly ritual. Got to be out there for the tournament. And talking with Worth Honnam about it too, he mentioned some bad weather a couple years ago. I remember that one year it snowed on Christmas Day. Next thing you know, man, that snow was piled up here in town. That was almost, I think it maybe kicked the tournament, changed it around a little bit that year, but the tournament still went on without a hitch.
It did, and we had to make some adjustments to start times and that kind of thing. Wound up, I know, having to play because of the way things fell and the wrestling that was going on back then. We had some games scheduled over in the main arena that year, and we had to play a couple of games over there, as I remember, earlier in the morning as well, if I'm remembering that correctly.
I remember the one year we talked about the wrestling was there. I think in Page and Ragsville, I think had to play like about a 9 o'clock game over in the big building that morning. That was kind of fun, though. You broadcast the game 9 o'clock in the morning. That was kind of neat back then.
I remember that well.
That was Coach Kent, one of his teams with Jackson Kent and Frankie Eves. Frankie's up in Appalachia doing quite well. They had a good page. I think James Summers might have been on that team, too. Maybe a sophomore, James Summers.
Speaking of, just saw today, I don't know if it's true or not, official, but he's headed to East Carolina to play football.
Yeah, I wish he would call me or talk to me about this. I mean, James, I've been popping this guy while he was down in Mississippi, pumping him up big on the website the past year. So James ought to let me be a second-hand man, give me some of these insider. But it's neat to know. It's good to hear.
Yeah.
I'm glad he's going somewhere.
Exactly.
I'm glad he's going to be
exactly
in school.
Right. We would.
I hope he does well.
Yeah, he's. I had a chance to speak with him a couple of times when he played in this tournament, of course.
Yeah. And James could jump.
Yeah.
T.J. Logan, man. T.J. Logan could. People that don't know about T.J. Logan, he was as good a basketball player as he was a football player for a period of time in his life, and that kid could jump out of the world. It was amazing. I saw him on a breakaway dunk in that tournament one year, going from right toward left. He went down and just slammed it home.
Yeah. Well, talk about James Summers. The story that I remember most, and I had the opportunity to tell him this, was watching Grimsley Page football game a couple of years back. When he was more than a couple of years now. But anyway, he gets knocked out of bounds, and he ran into somebody on the sideline. They were just standing there, and he fell into him and kind of maybe knocked the guy down. And he got up to head back out on the field, but he turned back to check on the guy before he went. I said, that told me something about you, James.
Yeah.
Just in the heat of the moment there, he didn't forget to make sure that guy was okay. You look for little things like that. At least I do.
One of the things I remember most about James, he was sitting right in the same chair you're in right now. I mean, this was here at this Shane's Rib Shack Football in Focus, Basketball in Focus, Sports in Focus show with James right here that year. And I look over and ask James a question. I said, well, what about if you guys meet this such and such? What about? He said, no problem. We'll take care of that. I thought, wow. I don't think I've seen anybody who's been that confident, or at the time I thought, guys, this is a little bit out of the world, being a little bit overboard. But hey, James took care of business.
He was a great quarterback, but I forget the exact game it was in. But it may have been in the semifinal game the year they won the state. He came in and turned the game around playing defense for Page. And had a couple of big interceptions, as I remember.
Oh, yeah, he did. He was playing defensive backfield that game against Garner in the championship game.
Yeah.
They stuck him in. I thought, man, this is almost too unkind to Garner. He take your top player. But James, he could just float. He could float around out in the defensive backfield and just take him away.
It seemed like maybe they beat Butler in the semifinals or something.
They beat Butler in the semis and beat Mallard Creek right before that. Beat two of the top teams in the nation. Yeah, it was just unreal.
Yeah.
Second half, it was just crazy what that guy could do. He was just a heck of a player.
No doubt.
Well, Jim, I know you got to get rolling. Give us the details when the tournament starts and some details about it again.
Yeah, well, it's a 3-day event. Starts Friday the 26th, Saturday the 27th. We have to take Sunday off, and we'll wrap up on Monday the 29th.
Yep, a Monday finish.
great games throughout the boys and girls. And again, I think highlighted on that first day with that Grimsley-Page boys matchup at 8 o'clock that night. But they're all going to be good.
Those Grimsley guys are going to eat a lot of Christmas dinner, but I guarantee you come Friday when they get out in that game at 8 o'clock that night, those guys eat a lot of. They're going to be hungry that night, really hungry.
They will. You put a Tiddlywinks board on the table and it's Grimsley and Page and it's competitive. So that'll be a lot of fun there.
If you line the Page guy up here, the Grimsley up here up at Shane's Rib Shack, so your trophy's down the street at the school, I'm going to say on your mark, get set, go. You see a battle fly down the street to get that trophy. But those guys will battle. Like John Puryear had like 20-70 the other night against Southwest. Then he came back with 25 the next night, that Monday night against Central. So John Puryear, a good scorer, good shooter. The guy can put him in.
Yeah, he's having a good year.
And the Mike Featherston guys, everybody these days, you don't have too many of these big, tall centers. Remember Big Max Moore, who played for Grimsley a couple years, and Big Max, who was a big guy in the middle. You had several big guys in the past, but Jannar Lawhorn was another big kid. Maybe he used to dye his hair like blonde, whatever. Jannar was this crazy big man. But now you got guards and maybe one tall guy, or not even a tall guy playing. It's guards. This is guard basketball now. Everybody's playing guards.
Yeah,
Northwest Guilford's a load of guards. They got the one kid, Reggie Davis, sophomore at Northwest. He can flush it, he can dunk it, but he's more like a floater. But Northwest has got P.J. Harrison's little brother out there too. His half brother, Trey Turner. Trey had 20 the other night, so watch out for the freshman.
How about
Trey
that?
Turner.
I was reading today, and I forget the team that this was in reference to, but saying they play 4 guards. It's amazing what it's turned to.
It's amazing. I mean, it's like all guards nowadays. Southwest Guilford's got a load of guards. You got K.J. Langley going to join us in a couple of minutes. You got the shooting guard, tall kid Ben Ferguson. You got Orlando Smith. You got Cameron Langley, who's not quite a guard, but he can go inside some too. But man, everybody is staying time. Even Page, the tallest kid on the team, and the next to the tall 6'5" out there, DeAndre Overton was an inside player last year. Now since Grays and Eves are gone, they've got 6'5" Overton playing point guard. And you got Seegers is another post player inside. He'll play some wing to go with it. I mean, it's crazy, but it sure worked out good back when Coach Kim Furlow at Northern Guilford used to play Samantha Cover at guard. Big, tall. What's she playing at guard? Of course, she'd be a post. I mean, just toss it down to her. But the post, just the sedentary, the stand in one position basketball, those days are gone. You can't dominate standing still anymore.
Yeah, I think and the young folks start playing so early, and they develop those ball handling skills and get up and down. That's right.
They do. Well, Jim, I'm going to make sure you got your meal card here. Tell them you're looking for a meal from Shane's Rib Shack. They'll take care of you. And we've got the Langleys coming in. Again, Friday the 26th, Saturday the 27th, and Monday the 29th. And games will get underway about 2 or 3 o'clock every day out at the Coliseum. Come in, check out the Haeco tournament. The number 1 seed Greensboro Day School boys on their end, number 1 seed Northwest Guilford girls on their end. Going to make for a great tournament.
That's great, Andy. And again, thank you for having Worth and for having me. It's always
you
great
guys
to
will be
see,
on YouTube on Friday, so let people know the Beatles hit U.S. Ed Sullivan show in 1964. You guys are YouTube on Friday. Tell Paul and Ringo that are still here they need to check this out because it's a big event. And tell David Letterman, who's about to leave television, he needs to check you guys out because you guys are coming in. He's going out.
You never know. Second careers here.
You never know. I guarantee you.
Thank you, Andy, and Merry Christmas to you.
Good job, Jim. See you out there on Friday.
All right. Thanks.